Hi everybody, I'm showing you my new bird journal, junk journal, and it measures 6.5 by 4, and it was supposed to be made really small and thin, but look how it got. It got so fat. I had so much stuff in it. So it got a lot bigger than I thought it was going to get. So on the first page, this is eco-dyed fabric and fringe and a bird, and this is all coffee dyed paper. The next one is some textured paper with a decoupaged bird. The next one is some fabric and a stamped image. This one took me a long time. This is stamped on fabric, some stitching. This is decoupaged on some textured paper and some fringe and some sewing. This is some more stitching on some more coffee dyed paper and embellishment. And a tea bag stitched with a stamped image of a bird. A coffee filter envelope I made, and there's a little card inside of the woods. And this is a tea bag stitched on top of a tag. This is hand-dyed ribbon. This is eco-dyed fabric stitched with a bird and some fringe glued on. I did all this by hand. This is a coffee filter envelope. I made another one with a stamped image, something inside. Next page is another one, coffee stained envelope I made. Stamped image of a bird. Fabric sewn an owl on some textured paper, feels pretty neat. And this is supposed to depict like an egg in a nest above the owl. He's guarding his nest is what I'm saying. And this is an eco-dyed fabric stitched on. And it looks like a couple of trees here that turned out. Kind of neat for eco-dyeing because you never know what you're going to get. And the next one is an owl on its nest. So some more fibers. And this is textured paper. Next is a needlepoint butterfly on a tea bag. And I stitched that around the edges. The next one is a bird on some fabric on a tea bag. And this is some fabric here. This is a coffee filter, and I stitched around it and put the images of two bird images, and this is also fringe and fabric and more fringe to make it look like feathers, sort of natural looking. This is a image, stamped image on a tea bag. This is a tag of a bird. It comes out, and there's some fringe on the bottom of that right here. And it just goes back in there. Next is another one with some fringe on it. Shows the birds, and it comes out in the pocket. And this is a bird on top of probably a nest. And then, of course, the fiber stuff here to depict feathers. Next is a butterfly on a tea bag, and then a stamped butterfly above it. Next is some hand-dyed ribbon fabric, and this is needlepoint here with a image of a bird and some more fringe. I like the fibers, they're fun to work with. And this is a tea bag with a stamped flower and sewn different type of stitches. Here is another eco-dyed fabric, and it looks like trees turned out on that, so that kind of was a nice surprise. And this is a bird on fabric. Next is another coffee filter made into both sides and stitched down the middle, and the birds, and they have the fringe to depict, you know, like the stork or whatever it is has feathers, and the owl also has feathers. Next is some sewing, a stamped image on some paper, a bird, also on some Delusion dyed fabric, lace type of fabric. Another stamped image with some sewing around it and on some dyed fabric. Another coffee filter envelope I made with a stamped image of a bird. Next is these images are mostly from an old 1950s book, and this was stitched on some eco-dyed fabric and some more textured paper with a woodpecker on the tree trying to catch bugs or something, and here's his fiber to make it look like he's got feathers, and it feels really neat. And a butterfly on a tea bag with some more fringe and sewn around the edges. And this is some old lace type of paper stuff here, and I put a couple birds on it. It's vintage. Next is a bird in what's supposed to be a nest with this little egg here. He's guarding his egg. Here's another eco fabric dyed with a bird and some more fringe sitting in, could be a nest or on the ground. This is decoupaged bird and wording, and of course the fibers to make it look like he's got feathers. Over here the same thing, decoupaged. This bird is obviously not happy with this bird being over here guarding something. This is an image of fabric, an old bird image on a tea bag. Here's another bird on some textured paper, probably in a nest. Here is a fabric image with a stone like a leaf gem. And here is a decoupaged fabric with a bird and tag inside of it. Here is a duck image sewn onto eco-dyed fabric. And here is a diagram of what's on a bird. And here's a decoupaged butterfly. And so that's about it. I think there's about 50 pages. Would be 25 double-sided. And see how fat it is? It's like 4 inches fat. And see how I put one signature and it turned out to be like a lot of stuff in it. So let me know what you think about it. I'm going to put that in my Etsy store. So thanks for watching. Bye.